Okay, so I got the shaft out. I got my A-arm zip tied up there. You can see I just hung it on the exhaust. It's not going anywhere. This is pretty stiff, even though I just did a recent grease job, so I'm not going to mess with that. I always put all my nuts and bolts back in the exact same way that I took them out, so I never forget how it goes back together. So now's the part where people always ask, how do you get that thing out of there? Because if you look, I don't know how dim this is going to be, there really isn't anything that you have to take off. It's ready to go now. So what holds it in there is on the other end there'll be splines, and there's a little indentation that goes around about, I don't know, 2 or 3 millimeters in, and there's a circlip that just fits around it, and that circlip fits inside another indentation inside there, and that's kind of what holds that in until you put your hub on. And once you get your hub on, all that together holds it in place. So what you do, I'm gonna try and get a good angle for the camera. Is you just grab the shaft, and then you can feel the CV has some play in it, and that's what you're working with. So you're just gonna pull it out like that, and then what I like to do is I like to rotate it, do it again. Rotate it, do it again. You're going to have to do this quite a bit. And you're going to find yourself pulling on it hard enough. You're like, man, am I going to break it? And the answer is no. I guess you could if you, I don't know, put your truck on under from something first. But I can already tell she's already starting to come loose. So. Alright, so I just got my first, you can see that gap there is significantly more than it was. So it's just about ready to come out of there. You can see it's pushing back in. It's grabbing on that circlip in there. I'll set this down so I can finish that. And that's that. That's how you pull that out of there. So there's inside there. That nut, I'm told, is 46 millimeters. I don't have one of those. I use, I think it's 1 1/8 or 1 1/4. And then right here is that circlip I was just talking about. So if you notice there's a lot of grease on there, I just did the big bearing that's inside here. So after you take all that apart, there's a big bearing. It's like that big around. You have to take it to a machine shop or an automotive place where somebody has a press and they have to press it in and out. You can't do that at home. But when I put it all back together, I coated it in grease because this is absolutely exposed to the elements, and it was rusty when I took it out of there. All the splines looked okay, but that's why it's so coated in grease. And you can even see that it's got water on it too, so it definitely gets wet, and that's why I coated it so good with the grease. So anyways, that's how you take that shaft out, and I'll keep going.